Question answer on sources of energy. First is, a solar water heater cannot be used to get hot water on a cloudy day. Why? The answer is, first of all, the option B is correct, because the solar heater is using the solar energy in order to heat the water. So it would require the infrared rays basically coming from daylight, that is intense sunlight, to function properly. But in a cloudy day or on a cloudy day, the sunlight reflects back to the sky. Some are absorbed, some are scattered from the clouds, and they are ultimately unable to reach the ground. That is, the solar energy is not available for solar heater to work properly. Therefore, the solar water heater will not function on a cloudy day. Which of the following is not an example of biomass energy source? Is this the answer? Biomass is what? First of all, the answer is C. Others are not true, or you can say only this is not an example, others are true. So biomass is a source of energy that is obtained from biodegradable natural things. It can be from plant, it can be from animal waste. But when we talk about nuclear energy, this nuclear energy is produced during nuclear reactions like fission, like fusion. Fission is breaking of, you can say atom, and fusion is combining. It involves a lot of things. In atoms we have electron, proton, neutron. So just for in the upper surface, just know that fission means breaking, fusion means adding. So this produces a huge amount of energy. So nuclear energy is not an example of biomass energy. On the other hand, water is a plant material, gobar gas is formed from animal dung, and coal is a fossil fuel, and that has come from buried remains of plants and animals. So these are biomass products. Most of the sources of energy we use represent stored solar energy. So which of the following is not ultimately derived from sun's energy? Again, the answer remains as nuclear energy. Why? As we just saw that nuclear energy is released during nuclear fission or fusion. Now this produces a lot of energy. That tremendous amount of energy is produced here. The energy released during this reaction comes from mass of element. Actually, the mass is converting into energy. There is no role of sunlight on these reactions. So that is why we are saying that nuclear energy is not ultimately derived from the sun energy. But the geothermal energy, wind energy and biomass, they are directly or indirectly derived from solar energy only. Compare and contrast fossil fuels and sun as direct sources of energy. So fossil fuels, these are energy sources. We know about coal and petroleum. We use petrol every day. These are obtained from the remain of plant and animal millions of years ago, and because of pressure, temperature, etc., they are formed into coal and petroleum. So ultimately they are the animals and plants only, and they are directly available for us human being use. And these fossil fuels are the direct source of energy, but their amounts is limited. These are in limited amount. So these are non-renewable source of energy because we cannot replenish, or the nature cannot replenish it again. It will take millions of years for their formation. It will take millions of years. Presently, if you eat them or if you consume them, they are not going to come again in coming years. So fossil fuels are very costly also. But when we talk about sun, ultimate source of energy, this is solar energy. This is renewable source of energy. Today sun has come, morning 6 o'clock. It may come at 7, but it will come. Every day it will come. So solar energy is renewable and direct source of energy. The sun has been shining for years now, several years, and for next 5 billion years it is not going anywhere. So solar energy is available free of cost to all in unlimited amount. Nobody will take charge or ask you dollar for solar energy, and sun is kind enough to replenish it by itself. Compare and contrast biomass and hydroelectricity as sources of energy. Biomass, this is derived from whom? Dead plants, animal waste. These are not useful for us because dead plant, they are dead. Animal waste, they have eaten and now they have consumed, they have got the energy. Now it is waste. So it is naturally replenished. It is result of natural process. The wood and gobar gas, they are some of the example of biomass. Then we come to hydroelectricity. We know that water contains, or anything at a height has a potential energy. So when this water drops down from a height, the potential energy is converted into the kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy can be used to roll the turbines. We can employ the dams, build dams. Energy from it can be produced again and again because water is not going anywhere. It will come, because the glaciers are going to melt and water will come. So it is harnessed from water and obtained from mechanical processes, hydroelectricity. What are the limitations of extracting energy from wind, waves and tides? In first view, wind, waves and tides are everywhere, and we see that we can easily extract energy from them. But there are certain limitations to them. What are the limitations? First, we'll talk about wind. See, wind energy is harnessed by whom? Windmills. And one of the limitations of this extracting energy from wind is that windmill would require wind of speed at least 15 km an hour in order to generate electricity. Also, a large number of windmills are required because you can't expect to have a lot of energy from just one windmill. It covers a huge area. That means you have to give a huge area to them to install windmill. For example, for a 1 megawatt generator, the farm needs about 2 hectares of land. And the initial cost of establishment of farm is quite high. Only the rich people can do it. Moreover, since this tower and blades are exposed to the vagaries, or you can see the hostility of the rain, the sun, the storm and cyclone, they need a high level of maintenance. So this is costing too much. These are the limitations with wind. When we come to wave, see, very strong ocean waves are required. We can't have just, can't extract energy with waves which are having very low energy. For that, we need strong waves. Tides, there are low tides, there are high tides. So very high tides are required in order to extract energy from tides. As we just saw in these waves, we need high waves, we need high tides. So this tidal energy is harnessed by constructing a dam. See, we can construct a dam here, just across a narrow opening to the sea, and the location where such dams can be built, they are limited, and it is very cumbersome, very difficult. A government has to intervene, and only government can do it, because this sea coast belongs to government, and this includes a master class engineering. You might have seen in Dubai and the Arab countries how they have harnessed the power of various natural resources they have. On what basis would you classify energy sources as renewable and non-renewable, exhaustible and inexhaustible? Are the options given in A and B the same? Let me start with answering this, that these two are same, because renewable means it can be renewed, that is, it is inexhaustible. Non-renewable means once you consume it, it's not going to come again, it is exhaustible. So there are certain methods. Let me just don't read this. This is somewhere it has come, so just ignore this. Let us come to the point now. The source of energy that replenishes in nature is known as renewable source of energy, like the sun, the wind, the moving water, the biomass. There are so many natural resources which the mother nature has provided us. These are the examples of renewable sources of energy, because they are not going to end. They will come again and again. They are there for us. The source of energy that does not replenish in nature is known as non-renewable source of energy. Coal, you burn it, it will never come. Petroleum, you have to fill the petrol every second day in your bike or a car. Natural gas, again, same thing. So these are examples of non-renewable sources of energy. It will take millions of years to form coal, petroleum, natural gas again. Exhaustible sources are those sources of energy that are going to deplete, that will exhaust after a few hundred years. The coal, petroleum, these are the exhaustible source of energy. When it comes to inexhaustible source of energy, these are the sources which will not exhaust in future. So these are unlimited. Biomass is one of the inexhaustible sources of energy. So we conclude by saying that this A and B, that is exhaustible, inexhaustible, renewable, non-renewable, they are same. What are the qualities of ideal source of energy? If you indicate or say that this is an ideal source of energy, it should be economical, easily accessible, smoke and pollution free, easy to store and transport, and it should be producing or able to produce huge amount of heat and energy on burning, right? What are the advantages and disadvantages of using solar cooker? Are these places are there places where solar cooker would have limited utility? Yes. If you see the globe, the sunlight comes directly here. But at these points, the poles and mostly above these areas, there are least sunlight. So these are the only area where you can think of having solar cookers. So solar cookers, they use sun energy in order to cook food stuff. Sun energy or solar energy is inexhaustible, clean, very clean and renewable source of energy. It is free for all. Nobody is going to charge for it, and available in abundance, unlimited amount. So operating a solar cooker is essentially not expensive, right? But the disadvantage is also there. Disadvantage of solar cooker is that the solar cooker is very expensive. It works only in sunlight. It needs infrared rays to heat up the food. On a cloudy day, it will become useless. And these places, as I said, these places where days are very short, these places that are mostly covered by cloud covers around the year, they cannot use solar cooker. They have limited utility of solar cooker. What are the environmental consequences of increasing demand for energy? What step would you suggest to reduce energy consumption? See, energy, if some law has said, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed. But energy production from something, if it is non-renewable, then energy once consumed, that material is also consumed. It will not come again. So industrialization, we are so many people, Indians and Pakistanis and Bangladeshis, we are so many. We are developing economy. Industrialization is necessary, because without this industrialization, there will be no employment. We need the products to eat to survive. So industrialization increases the demand for energy, and fossil fuels are easily accessible source of energy that will fulfill the demand of industrialization. But the increased use of fossil fuels has a very bad, harsh effect on the environment. Too much exploitation or use of fossil fuels will increase the level of greenhouse gas content in the atmosphere. So what these greenhouse gases does, the sunlight will come, right? And these greenhouse gases will they are acting in the way to keep our globe warm. But when these content increases, it will heat it more. It will not allow the sun energy to reflect back after being used. So the temperature will increase, and if it comes around 2 degree average temperature of the globe, it will be a disaster for every one of us. So it will result in global warming and rise in the sea level. So when the sea level will rise, the low-lying areas or you can say islands, they're going to submerge in the water. So it is not possible to completely reduce the consumption of fossil fuels, as we are saying, but some measures can be taken, like we can use electrical appliances wisely. We should not use electricity. We should not waste electricity. Unnecessary usage of water should be avoided every now and then wherever it is possible. And public transport system can be used for mass transit, at a large scale, not one or two. Everyone has to do this. These are very small steps, but they will help in reducing the consumption of natural resources and consequently conserving them. So these were question and answer on this topic. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.